my lip gloss look? Okay. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Walk Podcast. I'm your host, Jaquana. I feel like I need to start saying that. I don't think there's been an episode where I've introduced myself. So disrespectful. You hear that?
Yes.
So I live in my apartment. I live by the road, and you can hear everything that goes on. It's kind of annoying, but it's cool. Let me see you bounce like the left and left to shoulder. I got a few things I want to get into today, but first I want to get into being a public figure. I've been sitting on that for a while and with that for a while and seeing what it means to be a public figure. And I don't think that that's something that as believers we should desire to be. And I want to tell you why. I was reading in John a while ago, and it was talking about Jesus and his brothers and how they didn't believe in him. And was saying, they told him, like, the works that you're doing, you need to be out in public so people can see it. Anybody who wants to be a public figure doesn't do these things in private. And Jesus didn't want to be a public figure, and that really stood out to me because he came to save the world. And I felt like the Lord was asking me personally, do you want to be a public figure? And for a while, I had to really like sit with that and see, like, Jaquana, do you really want to be a public figure? And in my evaluation, I did. And I found myself asking for forgiveness for that because that's not what I should have been desiring. I personally don't think there's anything inherently wrong with being a public figure. It's the way you go about it and how I've seen it done. It's hot in here.
I mean, you went and put on 10 layers of clothes.
I didn't. I just put on this.
I know. Just have it like 10 layers of clothes.
So a public figure is someone who's known for what they do. Nope. A public figure is someone who is well known, not necessarily for what they do, but someone that is well known. And I think they get the fame and notoriety from what they do 9 times out of 10. And I was watching this movie on Amazon, and it was titled Public Figure. And it really just helped me in my evaluation of what a public figure really was and why that's not something to be desired. Because in the movie, the people who were public figures, they received all of the glory. Like, everything was about them. And as believers, that's not how it should be. Like, as believers, our lives is not about us. The purpose of our life is not just for us, it's to glorify the Lord. That's what we created for. That's what we're supposed to do. Bring honor and glory and praise to him. It's all about him. And our lives should display that. Our lives should exemplify our Father. And when you're a public figure, it's not necessarily that. It's about you. And I realized, like, a part of me did want some of the glory that I know only belongs to him. And I found myself repenting and asking for forgiveness, asking for forgiveness. Like, God, I'm sorry that I had the slightest thought that any of the glory belonged to me, that any of this was about me. Like, it's about you. And that brings me to, like, the life of Jesus and how he was just so selfless. Jesus was so selfless. He literally gave his life for us to have life. He came and lived for us. Jesus isn't... So, like, the world we live in today, as you know, like, all the social media and stuff. I'm gonna just look at you and talk. What's your favorite social media? I'm so glad that you said that. On Instagram, you can gain up to, I don't even know how many followers, but people be having buku followers, like so many followers. And it's crazy to me how the only thing that we're really supposed to follow as believers is Jesus. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me because when you're a public figure, you become God. You can become a God. Like, I feel like that's one of the easiest ways today to be seen as a God. Like, think about people that you know that are glorified for whatever it is they're glorified for, and they have all of these followers on Instagram, and people are following them, what they do, how they live, how they move. Oh, such and such said this. Oh, we got to do it like this because such and such said this is right. This is the right way to do it. No, like, I'm not saying it's bad to admire or be inspired by someone, but nobody is to be followed. We're supposed to follow Christ. We're supposed to follow him. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he is who we follow, not this world or anything of this world. When I be saying like that, I be like, it's like a little pause. But you get what I'm saying? When I see all of those, when I was watching that movie and I saw like how many followers they had on Instagram, I was the first thing that came to my mind is like, how many people are you leading astray with yourself? Because none of those people were rooted in the Lord. None of their content or anything that they posted about or put out was about the Lord. It was all about them and their fleshly desires or what they thought or what they felt or how they thought things should be or their life. And it's like, what about that brings glory and honor to God? Absolutely nothing. What about that is leading people to him? Nothing. And I get it that those people weren't believers, but I also thought about what about the potential believers or the people that the Lord was trying to draw to himself that were looking at them instead of him. And it wasn't just those people in that movie, like in today's time, like there are so many people that are being followed. What's wrong?
It just look like the light or shaking.
Probably the cord, like tapping it. There are so many people that are being followed in vain. And when I was reading that in the word, it instantly made me think about social media. Like, that's so crazy, like how the Bible was written so long ago, and that version is the NIV version. It was like anyone who wants to be a public figure doesn't do these things in private. People who want to be public figures today do everything publicly. Everything is recorded. Everything is put out on the internet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I feel like privacy is a thing of the past now. Like, there is no real privacy. Like, like when that girl was pregnant, I think her name was Haley, whatever. And people was mad because she didn't post about it. Like, that's that girl life. How y'all mad? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not your business. Like, people feel like they should have so much access to your life and the things that you want to keep. Like, once you on that platform, there is no privacy. And I think that is dangerous because when you receive that level, that amount of fame, notoriety, whatever, exposure, it's like what's done in the dark really does come to the light. So what are you really rooted in? What are the things that you try to bury, that you're trying to keep in the dark? They're going to come to light. So it's all about you, your integrity, your character. Like, who are you as a person? What have you built your foundation upon? You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, if your foundation is not built upon the Lord, that's going to show. If it is built upon the Lord, it's going to show, right? But if it's not, it's definitely going to show, and you're going to get so much from people. Whatever judgment, comments, feedback, like so much from people. Like, the way the world is today with social media, it's like, it's so easy to get caught up in what they think of you if you don't have that foundation of who you are. If you don't know your identity in the Lord, you would think you're everything that the world has to say about you. I think, I love how in Romans, I think it's in Romans, do not be conformed to the patterns of this, transformed by the renewing of your mind. Our minds have to be renewed. Like, we have to allow God to do that. He has to be the one to renew it, but we have to allow God to renew our minds consistently. Because if not, it's so easy to get caught up and dragged down and drained by this world. Like, we are truly in the world, but we're not of this world as believers. We're not of this world. This is not our home. This is not our destination. And I think that's why it's important to understand and see that these things are not as important as they seem to be. or as the world tries to make them. But I feel like to the world is everything. That makes sense. Like to this world, the things of this world are everything because they're of the world.
And some that's being of the world is all they know.
All they know. But as believers, you understand that it's spiritual. Like this is a pass-through. This is temporary. We're not here forever. Like we have a home that we're going to go to when we leave here. That's the goal. That's what we should be living for, to get to that, not to, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between their flesh and their spirit. They think it's just all one. And some people who do have a sense of understanding or knowledge of spirit have the wrong understanding of what it really is and what life will be like after this. And I think that that's why they get so caught up in, one of the reasons why it's so easy to get caught up in social media and what you're seeing on the daily, what you see from people. It's like, to me, it just seems like that's what validates nowadays. The amount of followers you have on Instagram, the amount of likes that you have on whatever platform, that's what validates, not the character of the person, not who they really are, but what they look like. If enough people agree with something, then it's right nowadays. That is not true. That is scary, because to me, it's like, think about the next generation who need real guidance, who need leadership, who need to be taught the right things and are not, who have so much access to the world. Like, they got more exposure now than I feel like anybody has ever had with the internet, with social media, with all these sharing with iPads and iPhones and all of that. Like, it's so easy to get whatever. Like, you can look up whatever, whenever, how, whatever. There is no filter. There is no protection. It's dangerous because there's so much quote unquote knowledge out there that you can just go out and get whatever you want. You can find whatever to agree with, whatever you think you believe, to confirm your false beliefs. That's scary. And there's people out here that are preaching these false truths, spreading false information about not just the Lord, but about life in general, about basic things. And people are receiving it as truth because they have enough likes. They got 30,000 likes, so whatever they say is right. Enough for everybody agreeing with them, so it got to be right. No. And that's so dangerous to me. That's so scary to me. Y'all, I ain't even looking at this camera the whole time. Sorry, I'm looking at my friend who was here with me because I needed somebody to be here for moral support. Thank you for sitting here with me. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Her name Edna. Huh? Enemy Brown, yes sir. But yeah, my point of saying that I don't think that as a believer, being a public figure is a thing to be desired is because we are not called to be public figures. We are called to be disciples. I do believe that a disciple could be a public figure, but that is not the goal. And with you being a public figure, why did you become a public figure? What are you known for? What did you receive that for? When I speak of this, I think about Jackie Hill Perry. I think about Tim Ross. I think about, I'm going to just use those two. Do you know who those people are? Jackie Hill Perry and Tim Ross?
Yeah. Mr. Glasses and Mr. Used to Be
Mr. Glasses and Miss Used to Be Gay is insane.
Am I wrong?
No.
Okay.
If y'all don't know Jackie Hill Perry, 10 out of 10, highly recommend looking to her. She's really a woman of the Lord. I believe she's an evangelist. I honestly don't know what she goes by, but she's a believer. She's a part of the body of Christ. That's what matters. But I could see how one would call her a public figure, but she's a disciple of the Lord. She uses her platforms to exemplify the Lord. Almost everything I see her put out is about God and her family. Of course, she's married with children, but she uses those things to glorify her Father. She has the likes, the followers, and all of that on social media. But what is it used for? She's not using it to gain glory for Jackie. She used it to gain glory for the Lord. And that's what it's about when you're a believer. What you looking up? Right. A disciple.
Yeah.
She's a
No, I'm
disciple.
saying like Reverend Evangelist.
Right.
Yeah.
Just Jackie Hill Perry. That's what I'm saying. A disciple. And I love that. And on the other hand of that, when you're a public figure, it's about you. When you're a disciple, you do things for the glory of God. When you're a public figure, you do things for the glory of you. There is a huge distinction. That is not the same. Like, I've seen a lot of public figures be like, glory to God. Thank you, God, for all of this. And the things that they do, the things that they've got this fame for has nothing to do with God. So who are you really giving glory to? Like, the glory that you're giving him is not his to begin with, because that's not, when you are a real true disciple, your actions will show. You will bear fruit. And a lot of things that is applauded today is not fruitful, has nothing to do with God or bettering his kingdom or equipping his people. Absolutely nothing. But I see a lot of things with his name attached to it, and that is scary to me. That's very scary. I'm not saying don't live your life. I'm not saying don't enjoy. But who are you glorifying? Who are you doing it for? Who are you truly worshiping and praising? And hear me when I say as believers. I'm not speaking to everybody. If you're not a believer, then it doesn't apply to you. But I'm speaking to believers. As believers, we should not desire to be public figures. We should desire to bring glory and honor and praise to our Father. When Jesus was here, he didn't even live his life for himself. He was very selfless. He said, I only do what my Father commands. Selfless. Jesus had a level of humility that I aspire to possess one day. I don't got that right now, but I truly desire to have that one day. That man was humble. And I think it was partially because he knew exactly where he was going back to, where he came from and where he was going to. And that same knowledge is available to us today as believers. We know how it's going to end. We know that the enemy is defeated. We know that he has no power. We know that this life is temporary. We know that this is not our home. We know that Jesus is coming back for us one day. We know that. And we should live like that. We should not get caught up in the ways and the traditions and culture and all the things of this world. That is not what we were created to do. I want to throw this in there too, bro. Watch the company you keep. Pay attention to those around you. Remove anybody around you that's not beneficial to you. Even if they were beneficial in one season, if they're no longer beneficial in this season, let them go. Don't keep people around you that's holding you down, and don't be around people that you are holding down, because I think there's this big thing where it's like everything is just about you and you don't want no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want no fake people around, da 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 da. You can be that to somebody else. It's not always that that they're the bad person for you. You could be the bad person for them. And sometimes it's not even about being bad or good. You just no longer fit. Some people you really do outgrow. And when you've outgrown a person, just let them go. Let them go and allow God to bring in the new people that will be beneficial to you, to where you're going and where you are. I don't know where that came from. That was just kind of random. That ain't really had nothing to do with what I was saying, but don't yoke yourself to unbelievers. Yeah. Words from Edna. But yeah, appreciate y'all boy for tapping in. Why are you looking? How much? That's good. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all boys for tapping in. I love all of y'all, my walkers. We walking this thing out together. That's all I got. God bless y'all. What you say? Oh yeah, so bro, I was told I need to start saying this at the end. Subscribe, like, comment, share. That's who. What else I need to say? We walking this thing out together, man. Y'all boy be blessed. Just